Hello everyone and welcome to the March update for the Queensland Thoroughbred Owners Association, joined by CEO Ben Mannion as usual to talk us through all the latest news going on in the QTOA world. And mate, it's been a big month, obviously lots of action on and off the track, and you've been busy yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. March has been a little bit hectic across the state. Obviously the weather got the best of us in a number of areas, and we're sort of playing a little bit of catch up in some of those areas, but there's obviously been a lot of great racing as well, and we'll touch on some of those things throughout the show.
Okay, well February was a big month. It was the first newsletter that went out to 25,000 owners in Queensland. What was the feedback like there?
Yeah, tremendous feedback, and there was probably a few people that sort of went, why am I getting this piece of correspondence for a start? But for us, we've had a number of people sign up as owners and foundation members, which is great. A number of people have reached out to be sponsors of the newsletter as well. So, and we've had a lot of feedback around the race days that have been washed out, or questions around what happens to that particular prize money. So we are still doing a little bit of investigation into that, but the feedback we're getting at the moment is that the money that's not spent, it goes into a pool and then is used later when there may be more nominations required in a race, and they split those races out into two races. So I have it on good authority that it's being used and spent in the right places. Where I want to sort of ask the question a little bit more is, if a race is abandoned or there's prize money being abandoned in northern Queensland or in regional Queensland, is that money being reinvested back into those areas? And we haven't got those answers yet, but we will.
Okay, well that's obviously one topic that you've been talking about
Yep.
with Racing Queensland in your meetings and other things on the ground over the last month. Talk
Yep.
us through what else has been happening.
Yeah, so we've had a couple of meetings with Racing Queensland. Both Peter Ty and myself have met with Brendan Parnell, the CEO, and a number of his staff. We had a great meeting just on a few weeks ago, which talked about our ability to continue to communicate to every owner across the state and making sure that we are covering off on the whole of the state. So, our newsletter will continue to be updated based on news that's happening right across the state, which is great. So we have approval now to go out every month, which is fantastic. And we want to be there to be available for every owner that has a question or has some sort of information they want to provide back to us. So first and foremost, that's great. The second piece was around equine welfare. So, we're really big on making sure that the owner's money, that 1% that comes out of prize money, is being spent in the right areas. So we've met with the Off the Track program staff, particularly Kim Duffy, had a chat to Brendan as well, and we will be putting a segment in our newsletter every month around the Off the Track program, going back to basics and explaining what happens with that money and what are they doing in relation to the Off the Track program, and how people can get involved as well. So it may be a little bit of back to basics to start with, but we think it's really important that we're transparent in relation to that. We've also asked the Off the Track program if the Owners Association can participate in that board, and I believe that we will be available or be able to be one of the directors on that board as well. So really important that we have some sort of input into owners' money and where that's being spent, but bear with us, it might take a little bit more time. So some good outcomes with Racing Queensland. Looking forward to working with them in relation to things like race schedules in the future as well. So very good meetings.
Yeah, sounds very positive. Also on a positive note, the Alliance,
Yeah.
you had a meeting with the Alliance. Tell everyone, if they don't know, what the Alliance is and who's involved and what the outcome of that meeting was.
Yeah, so the Alliance has been around a little while, but the Owners Association probably hasn't been as engaged. So Cab Partington from the Trainers Association essentially has been leading that and is doing a wonderful job. So we've got Cam and Jim Murdoch from the Australian Trainers Association, Basil Nolan and Scotty McAlpine from the Breeders Association, and Pam O'Neill from the Jockeys Association, and then both Peter Ty and myself from the Owners Association. We met out at the Ipswich Turf Club. They have a great facility out there. If you haven't been out there, they've got some great deals for owners and trainers on race day at the Barn Family Restaurant. So I encourage you to get out there and get stuck into the smorgasbord out there like Pete and I did. But the overall meeting was a great time to get together and sort of talk about some really key things, and we're pretty aligned, to be honest, on a number of things. Firstly, equine welfare, and obviously Basil's led that in his role of chair of the Australian Breeders Association, with his paper that was recently released, the most important participants. So we want to be able to support Basil and obviously the Breeders Association and everything to do with equine welfare. And I think as you will see in the newsletters coming out more and more, there'll be more information about how owners can participate in that rehoming or education space after horses have finished racing. So we'll be doing a lot more on that, and we'll be talking to the Off the Track program, as I mentioned, about how the Owners Association can effectively facilitate some of those education platforms. So that was a really good outcome, I think. The second one is around Eagle Farm, and we want to be part of that solution as the Alliance as to whatever that decision may come later, probably March, April, as to what happens in relation to Eagle Farm. They've obviously had a race meeting, got another race meeting coming up, and would love to sort of see what the participants think of the overall track. Thirdly is obviously prize money in no particular order, and we want to be part of the conversation as to what that might look like moving forward. Obviously, there's been a little announcement here and there around some of those races being increased, and I think the industry as a whole, would love to announce something really big if we could. It's just about where that money's going to come from, and Racing Queensland, I know, is sort of keeping an eye on next year where they think it might sort of get hit a little bit harder in relation to punting dollars as well. So there's some of the things that we want to be able to talk to the Racing Queensland board and obviously the administration and engage with them a lot more. We want to be part of the solution, and we think we've got the right people around that table. And be remiss of me not to mention that the clubs were involved as well. So Wayne Patch from the Ipswich Turf Club was there to talk about it from a club's perspective, and we'll keep them engaged along the way as well, and make sure that we're all aligned as we're having those conversations with the right people at Racing Queensland. Yeah,
it all sounds like positive discussions and a positive platform to raise all these agenda items moving forward.
I think we as I said, we're all aligned on some things. We just want to make sure we get the right outcomes and they go through the right channels, which is us, effectively the key stakeholders, to get some of those decision making happening.
Well, speaking of Basil, you caught up with him out at the Magic Millions sale this week. It was obviously the March QTOA sale at Magic Millions, which is a really important sale for the breeders, and you spent some time with Basil?
Yeah, it was great that Basil was able to give some time to us while we're out at the March sales, and I wanted to talk to him about the importance of this particular sale, the QTOA sale, the importance of the Capricornia sales coming up in Rockhampton in April, and obviously the importance of the Alliance and what he sees with the Alliance moving forward. So we're at the QTOA Magic Millions sales here on the Gold Coast, and it's great to catch up with the Queensland Thoroughbred Breeders Association Chair, Basil Nolan. Basil, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Ben. Great to be on it.
How's the sale going for you?
Yeah, I think it's a very good sale. It's probably there's plenty of value here. Obviously, the good horses are making plenty of money, but there is some horses that are good value for people to buy. I think that the prize money that these horses are racing for, obviously it's the only sale in Australia where the gross sales receipts can be won in the first or second year, and that's happened for the last 5 years. That horses sold here have won more gross than the whole gross of the sale. So if you had big long pockets, could buy every horse, you would come out in front.
Oh wow, that's a great stat.
It is.
And this is going out to just under 25,000 owners now, this video. So, for the Rockhampton Capricornia sale and this particular sale, what are the type of bargains do you think they can pick up? Obviously, we've got one behind us with Heroic Valor that's standing at Raheen. So
yeah, look, he's our resident sire at Raheen, and he's been going very well. He's obviously third in Australia for a first season sire, and second for the number of winners. So in Australia, so it's a great stat. So hopefully he can go on to bigger and better things.
Now, Basil, we caught up probably a couple of weeks ago as part of the Alliance, which is a coming together of the owners, breeders, trainers and jockeys association. Had some really good discussion, and hopefully we can get some pretty good outcomes with Racing Queensland soon.
I think I think it's a must that we go to Racing Queensland as a united front. Obviously, there's safety in numbers, and I think that it's you obviously represent a lot of people in the racing industry in Queensland, and I think we've got a membership of 1,200 odd members. So it's very important. It's very important, and I think it's something that's we've been successful at for a long time. Obviously, we were successful with the point of consumption tax with the government, and I think that governments listen to people that are like-minded and come as a group.
One of the question without notice. One of the things we discussed at the Alliance was your role as chair of the ABA and the most important participant, which was a release on horse welfare recently. It's a really important topic that we all need to take seriously, isn't it?
I think it's probably the most pressing topic that the racing industry and the breeding industry have got to tackle, Ben. Obviously, we did through Tom Riley and quite a few other people who gave of their time to put together it's nearly a Bible, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's quite large, but it's a very, very, very thorough and addresses most of the problems I think that we have in the industry. So I think that we've got to move forward with it now and have a united front throughout Australia with welfare, and I think this is a great stepping stone to that. So it's really an ongoing thing. Obviously, it's very difficult to help everybody, but I think that we will get there, I'm sure.
And there's some great work being done by the Off the Track program, and I know that we'll be coming out soon with some information around owner education and the role that owners can play in equine welfare. But today, just want to say thanks, Basil, and all the best for the sale.
Thanks, Ben. Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Thanks, Ben.
Okay, well, great to hear from Basil there. And also, while you're out on the ground at the sale, obviously the sale is important for breeders, but also for buyers and bloodstock agents. You caught up with Dave Mee, prominent bloodstock agent.
Yeah, so we've been talking to the Federation of Bloodstock Agents Australia for some time now, and Dave is the Vice President there. So they do a wonderful job. There's a number of experts within that organisation that are able to help you if you're out there going to buy, a horse, and they can go through and take you through the inspections all the way through to the pedigree of that particular horse and give you some feedback on that. So for those people out there that are looking to maybe go to that next level, that next level of ownership, I can highly recommend using one of those agents. And Dave talked to us a little bit about his experience and what he's seen at the sale, and then some of the successes that he's had over the last couple of years. Well, it's great to be here at the 2022 QTOA Magic Million sales, and one of our guests today is Dave Mee from Pinhook Bloodstock. He's also the Vice President of Federation of Bloodstock Agents Australia, who I've been talking to for the last 3 months, Dave, and
Yep.
You've been around to a lot of the sales over the last 3 months. How's this one holding up, do you think?
Look, if you base it on the averages and the aggregate and the median, it's slightly below last year, but look, it's last year was a record sale, so look, it's been from there's a horse for everyone at the sale, and it supports the local Queensland racing community, and it's quite an important sale on the calendar because the QTOA scheme is such a wonderful scheme, especially for the the provincial and the rural areas, not only the metropolitan area. So overall, there's good buying, some success stories with the selling. Some horses making big money, which is great for the breeders. But as a buyer, I'm always looking for value, and purchased 2 so far, and hope to purchase another couple with my buyer's hat on at value prices.
As you said, this is sale so important for particular Queensland breeders,
so,
and
yeah.
obviously the Capricornia sales coming up in the next month up in Rockhampton. We saw a great race day here on Saturday with a couple of winners, and the Spirit of Booms are shining through, aren't they?
Well, he's a leading sire. I think he's a top 10 sire. He produces fillies, colts, primarily sprinter miler types, but it's a good result for the Eureka stud guys, and obviously the connections. Prince of Boom winning the QTOA race on Saturday.
So there's a number of Federation of Bloodstock Agents Australia. Did I get that right?
Yes, you did.
Around here at the moment, and can you tell me, why it's important? Do you think for someone to come and talk to you about, maybe they want to take the next step in relation to buying a filly that can one day be a broodmare, or
Sure.
you just want to race horses? Why is it important, do you think, for someone to talk to someone like yourself before they buy?
Well, look, it's without sounding, patronising. It's really hard to. You can't buy the experience that the collective FBA agents offer. You have to have a certain amount of experience operating as an independent agent and a certain level of success to be admitted to the federation. And it's just we offer independent, objective advice. The members overall, we offer different sort of skill sets in different areas of the game, but it really comes down to the experience. We've been through it. Not every horse we buy is a Group 1 horse or makes $1 million yearling. So we cover a wide range of services, but mainly it's the experience, the integrity we're offering. We are dedicated and committed to offering best practice within the industry, which separates us perhaps from others that don't have the experience or not acting as they should. All FBA members operate within a strict code of ethics, and we endeavour to practice best practice within Australia and worldwide. And as I say, all our members are contactable and offer a great deal of experience.
Now, you've had some success of late, and I'd like to sort of touch on a couple of those successes. Obviously, you work quite closely with Cam Bennett from Flying Start Syndications.
Yep.
He's a member of QTOA, and Flying Mascot's obviously flying at the moment as well, isn't it?
It's a great story, really. Look, we purchased her at the national sale at Magic Millions off local Queensland farm Alexia Fraser for $25,000. Cameron does a great job getting, people involved into syndication horse ownership, and it's just a great story. She's won the last 2 Group 3s with Tom Dabernig, races on Friday night on a Group 2, and then she'll be, it's all ahead of her actually. It's really exciting, so she'll be brought back for the spring and down the spring carnival, so it's just a really nice story.
So Dave, I've been fortunate enough to follow you around, both at the Magic Millions January sales and obviously on Friday recently.
Yep.
Can you just tell me, what are the main things that you're looking for clients in relation to some of the horses that we've seen?
Well, it's look, as an agent, as a full service agent, as most of our members are, we offer different services. But here at the yearling sales, we're looking for an athlete, and look, that's the primary, the cornerstone of buying any horse as a potential athlete, as a yearling, is athleticism. I personally have things that are non-negotiable, like balance. I like a horse that's moves easily and freely, has a good brain on them, and then it's really you're trying to buy everyone has different budgets, so it's really trying to buy or provide a short list of horses, buy the best horse we can for the budget that people have. So
great.
That's, as I say, you're looking for an athlete within a budget set by the client.
So if there are people out there that would like to get some help and get some advice in relation to going into their next purchase, how can they contact the FBA agents and someone like yourself?
Yeah, look, we have a website with all our members and our all the independent members, the 2 associate members, Magic Millions and William Inglis. Just contact on the website, bloodstockagents.com, and there's a lot of good information on that site, and you can contact any of the agents at any time.
Yep. Thanks, Dave Mee.
Thanks, Ben. Thank you.
Okay, well that wraps up another successful March QTOA sale, and April's upon us now. So talk us through what's ahead in the coming months.
Yeah, well, there's obviously still a lot of racing going on, and the Gold Coast do a great job in relation to the Men Matter Race Day that's coming up in April, and we support that race event as well. On the 10th of April, and the 11th of April, there's the Birdsville races. The 23rd of April, the Julia Creek Dirt and Dust Festival, and out to the 30th of April, the Bar Calden Tree of Knowledge. So make sure you get out to those country races and support those races along the way. And obviously, keep an eye on the racing calendar for all those metro races as well.
Okay, well, sounds like a busy month ahead, Ben, and I guess that turns us to membership. How do people go about, if they did want to become a member of the QTOA, how do they go about it?
Yeah, so the best way of getting on board is through our website, www.qtoa.com.au. There's obviously memberships there for every sort of person that's out there. So our regional members, our South East Queensland members, our foundation members. So there's about 15 businesses that have taken that up, which is fantastic. And there's also a number of businesses that want to sponsor the newsletters, as well as a number of farms, adjustment farms, stud farms along the way as well. So if you're interested in talking to just under 25,000 racehorse owners every month, then please get in contact with us, and we can tailor a package to suit you.
Very good. Well, that's the wrap for the March episode, and we'll be in touch next month.
Thanks, Adam.
Thank you, Ben.